So I've finally assembled all of the tiles using all of the floor tiles for this, and that gives you a decent sized dungeon like this. It is pretty solid, so I'm holding it all. It's all connected. And meanwhile, thanks to a commenter on one of the videos, I've noticed they've made a mistake, and these connectors that are like half connectors, not these ones, but the half connectors are actually not used for being the edge of the dungeon. I mean, these. They are actually meant to be a second floor, so that is why they stick out so much, to be able to rest on on the ground floor. So that was my mistake. So I should actually take all of these out and put all of these in. That kind of explains why I have a lot of these left. So from all of these boxes, so the core set and 3 torture chambers I got. So there is quite a lot of them, and but my initial theory actually stands that this system kind of values building a sort of a dungeon that is more compact. So if you want to stretch out your long corridors and attach large rooms at the end of these corridors, it might kind of get flimsy, and it might fall apart, and it might not be good for transporting the whole dungeon. You might want to do this in parts, but when you do this in a single piece like this, you can move it around. Of course, not very. You have to do this carefully, but still, it is like a single piece. The connectors hold it really well. I've opened the door part, and I took all the doors out, and I've used 2 of them, the closed doors parts. So that is it. So that is your standard dungeon that you can create with the Dungeon Master pledge from Dungeons and Lasers. Of course, I am still not done trying it all out. I probably will be testing out the stacking option that is really there, using these connectors that, and this time I will be using them the way that it is intended to be used. Sorry, I hit something, and I disconnected something. So I've also I've talked to a fellow pledge person who, I don't know if I've spoke about this on one of the videos, who've actually said that he is not quite satisfied with Dungeons and Lasers because there is not a lot of space for minis, and well, in my opinion, it is really it's cool. I don't need any more space for the minis. They fit. The corridors are, they have a width of 2 inches, so they are not really wide corridors. You might create wider corridors if you really want, but you have an option of either 2 inches or 4 inches. Either a really wide corridor or a narrow corridor. But I don't actually mind. This is, a narrow corridor is really a good situation for a DM to create like a bottleneck for the players, and they have to handle the situation more tactically. This might be a great challenge for them. I guess since I know how to handle all of this now, how to assemble all of this, The next stop for me is painting, and there is a lot of painting to be done for this, which I don't mind at all. But I have to remember that this is, of course, real molded plastic, so injected to the mold. So this is a completely different material that I need to wash first. Um, it's not the case with Game Workshop, I think, because all of the Game Workshop figurines and the Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures, for sure, Nolzur Marvelous Miniatures come pre-painted with a base, with a gray base, so they're basically ready to be painted. And Games Workshop miniatures are probably washed, but every other producer just takes the minis out of the mold, and they tend to have some mold release residue on them. So you have to remember that you need to wash with a regular soap. You need to wash the mini first, which I just painted this figurine and I forgot to do this. This is a Raging Heroes figurine that I did for one of my players, and she wanted this particular figurine, so I painted this and I forgot to wash it first. I knew I was supposed to air it out to sort of let some of the residue evaporate, but still I did not wash it through with just regular soap. So even the black Vallejo base could not stick to the plastic, and it looked like it was like something like a fat residue, like something like grease, so it couldn't stick. So I had to put on numerous layers for finally to create a film that would catch the surface. But once it did, it was fine. But I had to make an effort to do that. I will not make this mistake with Dungeons and Lasers, so I will take it out. I will take this apart and I will wash it thoroughly. Then I will cover all of this with a base, and then I will start painting. I will paint all of these first, and then I will get to the stretch goals, the scatter terrain, the additional accessories, because as well I kind of get the idea, since these are tiny holes, and these holes might be big enough to put some lights in them. Your regular Christmas LED lights, they are really tiny, so they might actually fit. So to create this ambience, I might just put them in just to create magical lanterns to light up with an electrical light. This might be something cool, but that is a plan. So let me just show you again how the whole thing, what does it look like. So the camera is a little shaky. Let me hold it in a different way. So it is quite a big dungeon, so it is big enough to create some encounters for the players for a few hours. So I will probably be doing something with it. Of course, with dungeon tiles like this, the biggest idea is for it to be reusable. And with numerous stretch goal, scatter terrain, and accessories, it is. So you can either make this and an interior of some building, or you make it an old dungeon, or whatever you please. It is really good that the torture chambers have wooden floors, so I will be using these to emulate some interiors of a house, probably, and I will be doing other things with this. I've noticed that they also gave me another booklet. So these are animal companion booklets, but I've got a third which I have not noticed in the beginning. But it's here and it shows you the basics, which I have not noticed that the stacking option. But here on the last page, they actually show some plans for the future, which look really cool, and they tend to be sort of an abandoned mine set. Which kind of also looks cool. So this, yeah, you can see some woodwork that holds up the walls and stuff, and you can also see some bonus that kind of look like caves. So these are their plans. This is probably this probably will be a part of a future Kickstarter from them, which I might also take part in because it really is a great value, and I will probably get a lot of play hours from this, and my players will love this once I create something and I set it on the table, together with all of the accessories, all of the scattering, the furniture that's there, some of the stuff that I've made. A friend of mine is making some little carpets for me, which also might look cool on these wooden floors. So, I guess that is it for the tiles. I will be painting them, and of course, this will be quite a while since until I will have all of this washed and based and painted, and this will take a lot of time. So do not expect a video for this until, I don't know, 2 weeks minimum. And that is it. Thank you very much, and take care. Goodbye.